Good morning, everybody. On Wednesdays, our live is streamed on YouTube, and we do this call Monday through Friday, 6 o'clock in the morning. And then we also have a beginner call that starts right after this in an hour. Today's topic is 4 things you have to learn how to do, or you have to keep listing until you die. Kind of a morbid topic, but I was just thinking if you don't do these 4 things, you will never get ahead in your eBay business because there's not enough time in the day. So I'm just going to go over them real quick. And then everyone in the chat, let me know your thoughts on it or any questions. And then finally, I want to kind of ask, what is a leisurely pace of listings you could do in 1 hour? Like what is, because in the group, I guess tech uses the term snail pace, and that kind of means slow. So like, let's say what is a healthy amount of listings to do in 1 hour for you? What would you consider a good pace? 5 an hour, 10 an hour, 20 an hour, 30 an hour. In text method, you could do 30 an hour. But that's definitely not leisurely. That's working the whole time. Okay, so here are the 4 things that you have to leverage, or you will never get ahead in your eBay business. So number 1 is knowledge. If you sell similar items, okay, you are leveraging your previous knowledge to save you time. You already know title structure, item specifics, pricing. You don't need to re-research it. This kind of reminds me of, Sally had mentioned, is there someone in the group we could hire, like to show us shoes or price the shoes for us or adjust the listings for us? In that scenario, you are leveraging somebody else's knowledge, but that transfer can take a long time, meaning like get the listing ready, transfer it over to somebody for them to leverage their knowledge to make your listing better. That would that can kind of work, but not really, because the amount of time it takes to do that is a lot versus you leveraging your own knowledge. Okay, so without leverage, you're just a beginner in every single listing. Every single item is different. You've never seen it before. You have to start over. You may not have the photo process set up, so it's very hard. Number 2, technology. So what I mean by technology is we have this platform. eBay has 9 different ways to promote your items, and it has 500 million unique customers a month. That's a lot. Okay, so leveraging technology is insane. Before, you had to be on the corner and talk to one person an hour or 2 people an hour. Maybe you have a hot dog stand next to a sports arena and you get 20,000 people, but only for 1 hour. On eBay, you get people 24/7. So everyone needs to learn how to leverage technology the best that they can. So shout out to Isaiah for taking the time to learn the listing quality report. What is eBay looking for? What are the things that maximize the technology and the marketing? That's really, really important. So I'm glad that Jen is here, because I wanted to ask her what a leisurely pace is. So she was saying, like, as a musician, every hour you get a 15-minute break or something. So how many minutes per hour is a reasonable amount of break? Is 55 minutes out of every hour enough break for somebody? Like if you work 5 minutes, can you take a 55-minute break and then go back? Like what is the maximum amount of break you think you need in 1 hour for it to be reasonable?
Well, union rules used to be, this is a long time ago. I was in a union when I was very, very young in college. It was 40 on and 20 off. That was the musicians union. So you'd play for 40 minutes at a gig. It didn't matter where it was, and you had 20 minutes off. 20 minutes for me in the course of a business day would be way too much. I'd love to know what other people think, but that's too much. 10 would be good. 10 minutes would be perfect, I think.
Per hour?
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody need more than 10 minutes break per hour? Joe says 10 minutes every 2 hours. Is that common, 10 minutes every 2 hours? Because that's like 40 minutes every 4 hours, which is in California, somebody has to have a half an hour lunch break within 4 hours. Joe says, depends on how productive you are. That's what I mean. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is, if all your processes are clean, in theory, you could get all your work done in 10 minutes and then take the next 50 minutes off, right? Beth says that she finds breaks disruptive. I do too. I just try to finish it all in one setting and then go do something else.
I mean,
Eleanor says,
the other side of that is that if I am on a groove, if you're in a flow or you're like in the zone, taking a break would be the worst thing you could do. And that, like yesterday, I did 2.5 hours of photography straight, and it wasn't problematic. I wasn't going super fast, but I was steady, consistent, and I got 45 sets done. So that a break wouldn't have worked. So I don't think a break is necessary, but I do think my mental health might be better in the course of a day.
because people were getting mad at me when I was training my photographers, and I was like, don't use the bathroom. Just get the photos done and then use the bathroom. I know it sounds crazy, or use the bathroom before, because if you do it in the middle, it's going to take you a lot longer. It takes like maybe 3.5 hours of straight photos, and then 3.5 hours to do the listing. So I'm like, if you were to just go to the bathroom and eat before you start, take the photos, have lunch, do the listing, go home, you're actually done maybe 6.5, 7 hours, and I'll pay you for 8. But if you take a break in the middle, you're not even gonna finish. It's too disruptive. You're gonna lose half an hour sometimes going to the bathroom. So I don't know. They never complain though. They're like, I get to go home early. So no issues there. Okay. So number one is you have to leverage your knowledge and sell similar items pricing. Number two is you have to maximize the technology of this platform that allows you to reach millions of people. Number three is you need a simple enough system that you can pay somebody else to help you. You need to leverage somebody else's time. Okay. You can't do that though, unless you make enough money. So if you don't have 30 sales a day, I think you have no business thinking about other people helping you, because you can't afford it. You're essentially taking your own profit and giving it to somebody else. They're going to end up making more money than you if you hire someone, because they get guaranteed pay, whether or not you get a sale. But that doesn't work. It doesn't really work. People who hire a VA or cross list under 30 items a day, you're in trouble, because yesterday something clicked for me with Tech. Tech said that he doesn't Tech says that he doesn't like to pay for listings that never sell, right? And that kind of, the reason why it clicked for me was when you are cross listing, right? I understand the basic math. You list on eBay, you cross post to Poshmark and Mercari. You now have 3 listings. Only one of those listings can sell. The other 2, you have to go back and undo the work of that. Now, I was just thinking about that. When it's just you, it's not as expensive as if you paid somebody to cross list on the 2 platforms, or you use a service that I hate. I hate all services that do this. So you paid somebody to list on 2 more platforms, and then you didn't sell on those 2 platforms. And you actually pay somebody or a service to remove those 2. So you're taking money that in time that you could have used yourself to list another item and giving it to somebody else or another service. So I was thinking, okay, you have to be able to leverage other people's time. And if you don't want to list until you die, then you need someone to take over when you're on vacation. If you ever want to stop, you need someone that can help you. So you need a simple enough system that somebody else can do it. And you have to expect the person that's helping you to not really care, because they're not the owner. There's unless they're your partner. That's why, like, I believe husband and wife teams do so well, because they have the same money pool in theory. So they both care equally. But if you're paying somebody minimum wage, they're not going to care as much as you care about your business. So you need a simple enough system that you can pay someone else to help. Okay. Help comes in a few different ways. You can have people helping you source. You go to a similar route. You have a similar supplier. That's someone else helping you. You're leveraging somebody else's time. So in theory, imagine this. You have a relationship with somebody. They drop off stuff at your warehouse. Your workers photograph, list, and ship it. You do the customer service. That's what Tech does. Pretty straightforward. It's the most leveraged eBay store. Excuse me. So leverage. And then the final one, I think that we don't really talk about this in the group because it's not really necessary, is you could leverage somebody else's money. In theory, I could look at Mandy's business and say, and I know you have 2 or 3 helpers now, but what about 20 helpers? Let's blow this up, right? Someone could potentially inject money into your business and it would grow. I remember Bill had asked, should I take money from a friend who wants to invest in my business? And I guess the question is, how soon do they get paid back and how much do they get paid back? And you can determine whether or not it's worth it to take on other capital. Usually it's not, because eBay multiplies on itself. So 1 turns into 2, 2 turns into 4. Okay, now one more idea that I have, and I wanted to ask you guys what you think. I think that a gross margin of, let's say 80%, I think is necessary for people who are just starting. And I think you should try to spend $5. This is just like $5 or less. Okay. But I'm thinking if you aim for that $30 sale price, which requires a larger Rolodex, you have to kind of do a lot of research to look for things. Then you can grow your business because you have profit and also enough money to take some out if you want to. So I was thinking about Brian, because I feel like sometimes Brian scales and the margins go down. So it's confusing, right? If you increase your listing habit, why would you make less money? In theory, you should be making more. But with the cost of listing more items comes more overhead. So you get more infrastructure, more cost of goods, more time potentially away from your family. So the only way to offset that would be to maintain your price or increase your price and sell the same number of items, or leverage one of these other things like sell similar, or you're really good at eBay, so your items sell quickly, or you can have somebody else help you. So those are my thoughts. And if you have a $5 to $30 margin, so you buy stuff for 5 and sell for 30, you have enough money at the end of the day, once you hit 30 sales, to afford someone to help you. And then you don't have to list until you die. You can take a break. But if you don't do all those things, you'll be trapped, just like a 9 to 5 or a contractor job. Where, like, I'll give you an example. I have W-2 employees and I have 1099 employees. One lady was like, can I get paid vacation as a 1099 employee? And I said, definitely not. If you want to be a W-2 employee and you want to come 9 to 5, 5 days a week, I will pay you paid vacation 1 day per month. I think I'm very generous, 12 paid days off a year, right? You get 12 paid days off a year. I figured out health insurance in California. I will split it with you. Whatever your health premium is, I'll pay half. Okay. And I give you 1 paid vacation every single day, but I need full-time effort. If you decide you want to come whenever you want to, like a 1099, there are no benefits, no paid time off. I will not help with your health premium. I'll never buy lunch for you, because I work for you. You come whenever you want. I have to have things ready, and it's not the same thing. So I think a lot of people think about eBay like, I'm just going to work on it part-time. I'm going to work on it sometimes. Then you can't expect all the awesome things that come from putting a full-time effort in. When you put a full-time effort in, everyone in this group that does that can do 30 sales a day. You get all these benefits like paid time off, extra money, savings. You can afford your own health insurance. But if you put in less than that, eBay will not reward you with a full-time income. So it's interesting looking at that. Like it's cheaper for me to hire somebody full-time, pay them 1 day a month paid off, and have their health insurance. And you know what? I don't care. I'll pay half your 401k contribution, whatever. That's cheaper than a 1099 contractor that comes whenever they want. It takes more time. Now I realize that. because you have to are you coming today? Are you not coming today? Do you feel like working today? That's really hard. It's so hard. Do you feel like working today? That's what I have to ask. So that's like if you are a hobby or just a part-time seller, eBay is like asking you, do you want to work today? Oh, you know what? You didn't work yesterday. How about today? It's interesting looking at how that you won't get any of the benefits of financial freedom without putting in a full-time effort. Because it's difficult to do anyway. That's my 2 cents. I want people to leverage their knowledge, sell similar things where you know more about it, maximize the sales platform, learn all the technology, all the different parts of it, how to photograph things fast. And I want everyone to work at a leisurely pace because a lot of people bring up coffee. Okay, so you could have one coffee per listing if you want, still sell 30 a day. And that's a lot. That's 30 cups of coffee. That's a lot. Catherine, I don't even think you could drink 30 cups of coffee. That's a lot, way too much. And I think you need to drink 2 pitchers of espresso to overdose on caffeine. It's pretty hard. And caffeine also, what's it called? It has that half-life. So it would be very hard to die from caffeine overdose because you'd have to really be pounding it. So how leisurely is leisurely? How much break do you need? So if we go by the old school musician labor rule, 15 or 20 per hour, I think that's still fine. If it takes 4 minutes all the way through, that's 10 with a 20-minute break every hour. That's you are going to start. So that means your listing process starts with a cup of coffee. Get to your desk, have a full cup of coffee, enjoy it for 10 minutes, then go photograph 10 items, then list 10 items. Actually, maybe you take a break after photographing your items. Photograph your items, go make lunch from scratch, make pasta from flour, then come back, finish your 10 listings. Still only an hour has gone by. So Neil says, can they not tell you 7 days before they work when they want to work? It's whenever. So I have an interesting setup. I have W-2 employees, but they can take as much time off as they want. I'm sorry, as much unpaid time off as they want. So one of my girls is going on to a conference this weekend because she has my job and a side hustle. So she's going to a conference to learn how to do her side hustle better. All good. So Friday, she's taking an unpaid day off. She has a paid day off that she's saving for this month, but she's not being paid on Friday, and I have unlimited unpaid time off. Okay, Michelle G is asking about, and I'm open for Q&A now. Michelle is saying, can you talk about the importance of dealing with a death pile and the mental ramifications of not doing so? Yes. So a death pile or a pile of stuff that you haven't listed that's not in a queue. So what I mean by a queue is, let's say that you list 1 bin per day, which I really like that system. You fill a bin with items, go to your photo station, photograph them, list them, put them away, 1 bin at a time. Let's say you have 100 of those. Then mentally you can think, okay, I have 100 days backlog in my queue. 100 days from now, if I don't buy anything, I'll be out. That's important. So the first thing when you have a death pile, I think, is to figure out how many items are in the death pile. Because it'll give you, in my opinion, this is the first step to eliminating the death pile. Figure out how much you have. That will clear up a lot of mental real estate. The mental ramifications of having a death pile are pretty painful because you're thinking, wow, I'm wasting all this money that's just sitting there not earning me money. May make you feel bad about yourself. Don't worry about that. Just when you have it, think about what your capacity is. How many can you list per day? How many days of death pile do you have? That's, in my opinion, that clears up a lot. And then you can let people know if your significant other's like, what's that giant pile of money that is just sitting there? You can say, that's 2 months of backup in case they can't find anything thrifting. You'll know. But if you don't really know, they will know. Everyone will know when you don't know. Spence says he pays his flea market vendors an extra $1 to $2 per pair of shoes to clean them. Yeah, that is an interesting thought. For my flea market vendor, it's quite a bit more expensive to have them process it. So it's dramatic. Sometimes I pay $3 an item and they want $4 an item to detag, wash, fold, button. And I feel like that's a lot. I feel like $1 is a lot per item. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's not because the extra time does take a while to do that. But that is one thing you could do. And that's what I was talking about earlier. You can leverage somebody else's time as long as you have the margin to do that. If you're taking that $4 item and selling it for 30, then who cares? Pay them the $1 to save you time. Because a higher leverage activity for everyone listening right now is listing. The highest value in reselling is grading. That's number one. You figuring out what the item is worth. Number one. Number two is listing. If Thomas was in charge of valuing everybody's item, he could crush. He could do thousands of items a day because he has a huge Rolodex. He could go through all these items and be like, this is not worth listing, straight to the dump. This goes to this person. They know this. This goes to this person. They know this. That's the most valuable part of this. Then listing.
Hey, Chris,
So please.
Can you explain the concept of leverage?
Yeah. So this is the difference between okay, leverage is when you use something or someone else to help you achieve your goal. So it's not you doing it by yourself, because doing it by yourself means you just trade your time for money every time. So today you go to the thrift store, you trade $1, they give you a trinket, you go home and sell the trinket. The trinket is your leverage, right? So in theory, if you use knowledge, and that means you could sell more trinkets per hour because you already know what it is. So leverage is a tool or an object or a person that can help you get something more than you could just get on your own.
And you're saying that listing is the highest leverage opportunity because it provides the most like dollars per hour compared to the other tasks that we have.
Second, number one is grading.
Yeah.
Because if you list the correct items, that's different than listing items that suck.
Yeah.
Right. So number one is determining what to list. That's hard. That's the hardest part of reselling and the hardest, most highly paid item per hour. Like if you, the person that brings tech thousands of items that are ready to list is doing pretty good. Because that's hard. It's hard to be able to bring somebody all items that are profitable. He calls them keepers. That's very difficult. The people that hold items for me, like there's more and more competition, but I feel like it's okay because I know when I go to the flea market, it's difficult for me to lose that contract with the different vendors I have because I buy it no matter what. They've already determined what's good enough for me. They've already done the grading. So if somebody were to come in and say, I want to buy from you guys in volume, they would say, maybe, but then they might look through my pile and say, okay, this 10% I don't want to buy, or this 30% I don't want to buy, and they may not want to deal with that. So leverage is using your knowledge, using the technology to the full platform. I don't know, Abizia, you were here earlier when I was saying, since you understand the listing quality report, you can fully maximize the technology of eBay. Because eBay has 500 million customers, you know how to reach them. So that's amazing. And then the simple enough so that you can pay someone else to help, that leverage is somebody else's time. Isaiah, if you had 30 sales a day, you could easily pay for someone to help you clean shoes.
Most definitely. That'd be
you
fine.
wouldn't have to even ask, like, oh, Chris, can I afford? Do you even have to ask? You have plenty of money. Right. So I don't want people to say, like, at what number can I afford? And that what they're looking for is like 16. At 16, you can afford to hire somebody. Barely. Right. But if you get to 30, then you don't have to worry about it. You can have someone help you ship. And then shipping is a low value activity. You trade the low value activity for your listing ability and you'll be fine. Cindy says, how do you run your business not knowing if you have a worker from day to day? Okay, this is a good question. So for me, my goal is 4,000 a day. And I want to keep my cost of labor 10% or lower. Okay. So this is like super advanced eBay. You guys ready? Or reselling. So I want to keep my labor costs under 400. So they're both W2 employees. One of the W2 employees, her boyfriend wants to help. So I said, great. If you come and I pay you $200 a day, we need to do 6,000. Otherwise, I don't want to do it. It's not worth it for me to, I want to try to keep my business the same. So yesterday he came, we did $6,100 in sales. And still, even though I paid 600, still under 10% of the margin. So Cindy, the way that I run my business, not knowing I have a worker day to day is interesting because I can by myself do $4,000 a day. That's the, I think, sort of the limit for a person. That's like $1 million a year in gross revenue, 1.2 million, and you would make 250 to 300 grand profit. I think that's the maximum one person can do because you have to go find the items, photograph lists. It's like maybe a listing habit of 70 to 100 a day. It's pretty hard to maintain every single day. So the reason right now I can run my business not knowing I don't have a worker day to day is I could do it myself if they don't come. That's how I know. And then yesterday I came to the realization that the process that I don't have eBay anymore. So the eBay process is the most straightforward because if you do the same 10 kind of listings every single day, you now generate predictable income. I don't have that anymore because now that I'm on Whatnot, during a live auction stream, there's only 30 to 100 people. It's very difficult to find the right buyer. On eBay, you can wait 3 months to find the right buyer. It's totally different. So you can get a lot more money by being able to wait. eBay is an easier process because it's almost always the same. So, okay, Cindy says, does the 1099 employee ever want to come to work and you say, thanks, but I don't need you today? Never. Every time I will take not all the work I can afford, but I always have a little extra work. Like yesterday, my worker's boyfriend wanted some extra work. He's 1099. So I have work. Now, I don't always have work, but most of the time I have work. Thomas, what's up?
On your YouTube video yesterday or the day before, I think you ran through, it could be wrong, the top 5 platforms, right?
Yeah.
Number one was eBay. Sorry, one was Amazon. Number 2 was eBay. Number 3 was Facebook Marketplace. And nowhere on that list is Whatnot.
It's not one of the 5 biggest platforms or opportunities.
Opportunities. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It doesn't have the traffic.
That sounds crazy to me. That's not one of the biggest opportunities, but yet you're absolutely killing it on it.
Yeah. Isn't that, it is interesting because when you look at the traffic, when like Whatnot doesn't even have a million, I don't even think they have 1 million people per month. Like it's the live auction format is really interesting because I'm not familiar with it. There's a lot of resellers that go to live auctions in person. I don't know anything about that. I know that's really powerful though. Like I've only been to one store. My only experience with live auction is one storage unit auction. I've never seen it, but if you run an auction, in theory, you could sell all your items every day. If you start everything at $1, because Brian, what's the cheapest you paid for a storage unit?
$10.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's
So what is like, because they probably need to sell it no matter what, and they get the space back and rent it to somebody else.
yeah. If you're an everything seller, you should be doing storage unit auctions, no doubt. Like I've probably done 15 just because of my squirrel brain, and they're all profitable, and many of them insanely profitable. The problem is if you're trying to niche down, that's where you run into the problem.
Yes. So one more thought here, and I mentioned this in a few videos, but I'm going to keep mentioning it. At under $400,000 a year in sales, so let's just 30K a month. So that's 1K a day. 1,000. And earlier I was talking about, I think the capacity for a person is 4,000 a day. 1,000 a day, any model works. Okay, that's what I was talking about Isaiah yesterday. $20 item. You could listen to Eye of the Tiger and grind out 50 items that you've never heard of in the course of a day. No problem. Anyone can do that, even Catherine. If I got enough caffeine, we had some snacks, we hung out together, and we're like, we're just going to do this. We could do 50 in a day, no problem. It would take all day because you don't know what they are, and it would be a pain to figure out how to ship them, etc. But you could do it. But could you do that every day? I don't know. You would be pretty beat up if 3 or 4 days goes by and you're like, dang, this is a grind. It's a 16-hour day to list all these random items. So then, but if you think about how crazy this is, $1,000 a day, very difficult to sustain because every day is different, or $4,000 a day in 8 hours, hyper focused, one niche. So the platform, so okay, this is another thing. Now that I know what I know, if I want to keep it at the same margin, which is 10% on eBay, so 2 workers is 210 listings a day for me. So on that same math, if I had a $20 ASP, it's the same as Whatnot. It's just longer because it takes longer than a minute to sell something. It's the same time horizon. So you also, there's a lot less glitches. eBay is more straightforward because you can, a $20 item, let's say it's a $30 item. A $30 item will usually sell for $20 or more. On Whatnot, that's not the case. A $30 item can sell for $2. So it's interesting looking at the different math, but W-2 versus 1099 is different. Everyone that works for eBay is a 1099 employee. The people who treat eBay like a W-2 job, the results are a lot different.
So the one on the list that stuck out to me the most was the Facebook Marketplace one, because if you're using the model of one-off used clothing,
Yep.
do you really like, do you think it's an opportunity because no one's figured it out, because very few people have figured it out, or do you think it's an opportunity just because like you could sell replenishables on there really easily?
The opportunity for Facebook Marketplace is the third biggest because of traffic. I don't like, I don't know, Amazon has a bajillion people, eBay has 500 million. Facebook Marketplace has more people on it than eBay. And then the marketplace section is number 3. Number 4 is like Shopify, and number 5 is like Alibaba. Those are the highest traffic websites. And the Alibaba one's interesting because I never thought of manufacturing for other resellers. That's an interesting thought. I always thought people go to Alibaba to buy things to resell. I never thought people go like, I'm going to give you guys an idea. I think people can do this. So I just had a baby. People told me that a great toy for a baby is a wooden spoon and Tupperware. Right? It's a pretty straightforward, pretty cheap. The sound and the different material, babies like it. I can confirm. My baby loves that. Okay, so somebody sent me these little coins that are made out of wood, and they say daily refinement on them, right? So I'm like, okay, cool. This is like a bunch of wooden spoons because it's wood, right? So I put this inside of this juicer container, and my baby can play with this for hours. She loves it. It's like the wood sound. It makes a clinking sound. She's in the stage of her life where she likes putting things in, taking things out. Like this would cost somebody $1 to make this product. You could definitely resell this at a fair, at a flea market for $4. Best baby toy ever, right? It would work. You could give this to 7 or 8 different influencers and they would kill it. It would be an amazing baby toy because this is really difficult to choke on because it's so big. Makes the noise. You could put numbers on them and shapes on them, different colors. You could teach all kinds of cool stuff with it. But I never thought as a reseller, you could resell this to other resellers. That's why I thought was so interesting about Alibaba. Tons of people in Alibaba are manufacturing something for another reseller, even in the US. So I just thought that opportunity is interesting. Facebook Marketplace, you have the leverage of all the people around you being on it. I just don't know how to use it. I've also seen the next door, people doing pretty well selling stuff on there. That's complicated. And now that I have a Ring security system, that's also interesting. I think everyone will be connected to the same system. So in theory, like, okay, my cousin has he does the ranking for have you guys seen the US News and World Report ranking of colleges? His job is that he just tries to rank colleges. So he was saying, what if in the future, maybe this is coming soon, Linda wants a C's candy bar. So she says, boom, I want a C's candy bar. And the internet says, there's 6 of them at this shop that's 2 miles from you, right? That could happen in the future, the Internet of Things. We would know where all the items are, in theory, right? So you just use your phone and scan your whole house, right? And it lists everything for you. It knows what everything is. Facebook Marketplace, when Mark Zuckerberg takes over the world, it's going to take him a while because he'll have to live forever. So maybe 200 years from now, when everything is virtual, I think that the local will be huge. Right now, I think the issue is that you have to meet up with somebody, which is really not efficient versus putting it in the mail. We're talking about leveraging the post office is insane. Lisa says she wanted to introduce herself. What's up, Lisa? Lily, appreciate you. You can ask beginner questions in this call too. It doesn't have to be Isaiah's call.
Okay, thank you. I have one down below you're getting to.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Joe is saying using a value asset research process to add value. So I think the way to add value is novelty. So something unique, interesting, people haven't seen before, good price, good brand, cool, or entertaining. Those are like the main. A Jesus Cheeto for $30,000 is entertaining. Maybe a rich rapper buys that so he can have something to talk about at dinner because he doesn't care about money. And $30,000 is like 5 cents. Yes, my employees do watch this. So one of the 2 employees has a side business that she's trying to model from this, and the other one resells on the side. They do watch this. Cindy says, so as long as you do it yourself, you're set. They are gravy. No, I'm just saying I don't mind if they don't come to work. All of them didn't want to work on July 4th, so I worked on July 4th. Lisa says, you want to ask me about vacation and having time scheduled. Okay. So what I would do is, first off, you want to make sure that you have a draft bank. If you're going to keep your store open, have a draft bank open so that you can launch listings while you're gone. I would extend handling time. That's my recommendation. I went to Japan for 2 weeks and I did 10-day extended handling time. Every single day at the end of the trip, I would message all my customers and say, I'm out of town. I'll be back in 2 weeks. Do you still want the item? If not, I will cancel it and go back. That's why I say, like, vacation is weird because are you really on vacation if you answer messages? Some people say no. Some people say yes, right? So you have to ask yourself, if answering a question means it's no longer a vacation and you want the definition of vacation being no work at all, for me, that's really a miserable way to live, to be honest. If you're running a business, it's miserable to not do it, like take care of it when you're gone. Just for me personally, if you decide to have a 9 to 5 and somebody else's problem is to run everything, then sure, you don't have to think about it. But if it's your own baby,
Okay, so the stuff will just, as I have it in the bank. So just when you guys say bank, you just mean schedule it out in the future for each day, right?
You can do that, or you can have an actual draft bank and launch it. But I prefer scheduled.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, scheduled is better because then
scheduling. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just schedule. I think that the cost is minimal.
Okay. All right. And then just go on and take off, like, instead of 10 handling days, go to 9, 8, 7 as I'm getting closer back home. Is that what you're
You can
saying?
do that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you.
And I think that if you do actually take time off, like I recommend everybody maybe put your store in vacation mode for 2 days if you're curious, because people always wonder what happens when you turn your store off. You can just try it. I haven't seen any example of people doing 1 week of consistent listing and their store not turning back on. So if you take a break, turn your store completely off, come back 7 days in a row, list new items, your store will be back on. Cindy's saying pots and pans. Yeah, I'm just saying this is a cheap, inexpensive toy that you can make that I think would sell like crazy. If you had these wood chips and you put a triangle, a square, different colors, and it had this sound, it's insane. Babies love it. So and that reversible octopus thing, that thing sells, there's like millions of those sold. The happy face, frowny face octopus. Brandon, do you have some feedback?
I just have a quick question. When I'm in the shipping part of the listing, do most people do that at the same time of the listing, or are there people, do you know, that do the photos, the title, the description, and then come back to the shipping, or is it normal to do it all at once?
Depends. If you have your business set up where you're selling similar off your own items, or you use business policies, then you sort of have a set way of doing shipping. So maybe you have a flat rate, first class, a flat rate, priority. Maybe you do calculated shipping for heavier items. You have a certain way of doing it. Personally, I always left everything blank and I figured out shipping during shipping. And I just know how much things cost. The only exception would be a chair. I would put calculated shipping because that is awkward. And I don't know. It's like $71 to ship a chair locally and $500 to ship it across the East Coast.
Wow.
So it's very different. So in that scenario, I would do calculated. But on a t-shirt or a pair of shoes or something small, I already know what it costs to ship.
Okay. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of clothing, and I usually do calculated. For now, at least, I would like to set up the policies.
Okay. What would you like to set up your policies for?
Well, I usually do first, I'm still kind of I feel like I'm getting a little better each day. I'm kind of learning, finding cheaper ways to ship stuff. I notice sometimes, an order will come in and it'll be buyer pays $9 to $30. And I don't really like when it shows that. So I kind of figured out how to make it, buyer will pay this flat rate. Because my thinking was if they see that fluctuate, okay, $9 not bad, or $8 to 29 or 30, I felt like that could have been kind of a deterrent. So I'm kind of in the process of switching them to I'll choose the padded flat rate option. That's usually what I
flat rate for clothing, every single clothing item.
Flat rate. Okay.
Yeah. So it's important because if you use calculated and it shows $20 to ship a clothing item, a lot of people will be deterred.
Okay. So I can make my own cost or my own price.
You can set a flat rate. I used $8.99 for priority.
Okay.
Is that on everything, Chris? You do $8.99 flat rate on everything, t-shirts or pants?
I did. So I did $8.99 flat rate economy shipping, even for first class, which is overcharging. So people would say, hey, this is a first class item. And I would say, okay, great. Why don't you offer me $8.99 less and I'll do free shipping. So I used the ship a little bit high, not like exorbitant, I wouldn't charge $20 for shipping, but $8.99 allows me a little bit of negotiation. It does take a little more time because people will offer you.
Okay.
Oh, maybe entertaining. So Nina said she doesn't think she would enjoy hold on a second. Sorry. Nina says she doesn't think she'd enjoy vacation if she did time away, shut the entire store down. The problem is if you are a solo operator, your store doesn't pay you when it's off. So that's sort of the issue. That's why I want people to leverage so that you can have your neighbor help you when you're gone, ship your 30 items a day. See, Seth says sometimes the traffic would come back and sometimes even more. That's totally possible. If you shut your store down and then you start over and then you list 7 items at 7 days in a row, it's possible for your store to be doing better than before because maybe you weren't consistent before you turned your store off. Then all of a sudden now you're consistent. eBay thinks it's a new you, new week, new you. You'll be more traffic. Business policies does save time. Anything that you can do over and over again is a hack. Susan said, what were the things I used the keyboard shortcuts for? So, okay, this is interesting. I made a course for free on Skillshare on how to set a schedule, okay, which will in my lifetime make me millions of dollars. Okay, it's made me maybe a couple million so far. That class has 21 students. Okay. I made a class on how to use keyboard shortcuts. 630 people signed up the first day. And that didn't make me any more money. It's just cool. So that's what people love keyboard shortcuts. Man, I wish I had a product related to keyboard shortcuts. Like, okay, what did I use them for? I use them for my phone number all the time, right? So when I'm answering a business email and people want my phone number, my shortcut is @4, that types my phone number. @3 types in my address. And I use that when I'm typing in my address or something. @2 enters in my work email. @1 enters in my personal email. I use C1, C2, C3, C4 for different conditions on eBay. Brand new with box, new no box, excellent condition, shows cosmetic wear. Please please view all photos, no major scuff, scrapes, or whatever. And then the 4th one is significant damage noted in picture number 4 or something. So that's so like the keyboard shortcuts maybe saved me 5 minutes a day, and my scheduling class would save you 5 hours a day, and no one cares. But I already knew that when I was making it, but I just thought I want to make a scheduling course because that's interesting to me. But most people do not care. They want a keyboard shortcut that saves them 2 seconds. For cooking, it would be like a 5-ingredient, 30-minute meal. Always more interest. I guess that's true. If you had a 1-pot dinner, people be all about that. But keyboard shortcuts, I guess during listing, the things that you would save it for is your description, your policies like we ship same day, we answer all questions immediately. Pretty straightforward stuff. Okay, I will give you the scheduling course.
Sorry, Chris, could you just give a very quick explanation as to what the scheduling course is and what it offers?
Sure. Let me get it. Let me see. Okay. So
I think if you have your whole day.
All right. So here's the overview. I'm going to give you guys the link. I think this works. The course should be free. Okay. So the overview of the course is you define what you want in life. What do you want? Do you want a six-pack? You want $100,000 in savings? You want $5 million in the bank, a big house, all the respect of your peers, all your girlfriends and boyfriends jealous of your life, amazing significant other, 3 amazing meals a day, whatever you want, right? Write it all down. Then you, and if you don't know what those are, I already wrote them out for you in this free course. So all the things that you might want, exercise, whatever. So you have all the things that you want, you put them in a list. Then you prioritize them. Okay, so what is most important to you? So you redo the list with the most important stuff on top. Then the most important stuff on top, you add into your schedule first, right? Knock that all out. Good health, good sleep, family. I always think of Brian saying that he wanted to take his daughter to the airport. I think that's a perfect example. I can do that now. That's why I feel rich. Because if I need to, I go to a doctor's appointment or do something for someone, I can just stop and go do it. So,
And for the record, Chris, like how I've changed between then and now. Like yesterday, something similar came up. I
Yep.
stopped, dropped everything, took care of my daughter several hours. I got back and I still finished and got my work done. So
yeah, it's awesome. So if you want all of it, you want the six-pack, you want the money, you want the respect, you want the clout, you want to drive a Mercedes, all that stuff. You just put it all in there and then just fit it all into your schedule. You won't have any time left for garbage. Everyone that is stupid in your life or everything that is stupid, you'll just get rid of because it doesn't matter. It's like you have but if you don't have your list of priorities and you don't have a schedule, you won't get any of it. Life just keeps drifting by and you don't get any of it. So the scheduling is really important. I just put the link. Oh, wait, let me get it for you. Sorry, that was the wrong link. Yeah. But it's like, okay, let me just, one more tip before we call it a day today. The main thing that Warren Buffett says is you get your list of priorities, right? And then you put the stuff that you want to do into your schedule, right? So now you have probably like, let's say that you want to be healthy, good sleep, good food, make $100,000 a year, spend time with your family, exercise. These are the 6 things that you want to do, right? And then also on the list is like learn the guitar, garden, read, go to the store, and learn about cooking, whatever. The rest of your list, right? Warren Buffett would say, rename this list, stay away from at all costs. Because then you're guaranteeing yourself you hit the 7 things you want. So I'm going to teach my daughter that she can't have everything. She can only have a few things. So just, choose wisely, take your time, pick something you like, because you can't have everything. There's not enough time. If you're on Instagram, you'll think of things you didn't even know you wanted. Now you want them. So if you know I can only have 7 things, and something pops up in your life and it says, oh, do you want to learn how to rock climb? It's helped these 1,000 people live a better life. And you think, that sounds cool, but it's not in my top 7. It's easy to say no. But if you don't have a top 7, it's all these things creep in and then you end up doing nothing. So it's really important to know what's important to you, what's not. And you don't have to get rid of all people in life. You can just shorten it. Some people, they used to be people you hang. I remember in college, I used to be able to hang out with the same crew of people for 90 days straight. Just like, you want to go do something, hang out with them every single day, all day. Now those same people are like 3 hours max for me. I'll give you an example. In September, I'm going to be doing a reseller event in Salt Lake City. Okay, so all of you that are in Salt Lake City, you can come to the event for free if you're in the Patreon group, just for Patreon people. So the wedding that I'm going to is in the afternoon. I would rather teach people how to resell in the morning than hang out with my friend. Because he's the exact same, like 3 hours of him is good because he's the same person. I moved away from Utah 19 years ago, my friend is exactly the same. He hasn't improved or changed at all. No offense to my friend. He's just the same person. So he's only worth one afternoon of my time. I'd rather work on my other stuff. And we're going to be dead soon. I just want to allocate my time properly. So in the morning, I'd rather teach people, random strangers on the internet who are trying to improve themselves, than hang out with my friend who's exactly the same. I don't even have to go to the wedding, and I know what he's like. He's the same person. Eleanor?
I love this story. Is this the one where you were talking about you thought they still had the same liquor bottle?
Yeah. I literally left a party. I moved to New York City. A year later, I came back. They poured me a drink from the same bottle. I was like, wow, this is the same party, same people, same conversation. No, I don't even need to come back once a year. This is just like, I couldn't believe it. Completely the same. So I figured out what I want to do during the event too. I want to have somebody from the group list 15 items in an hour. That's my goal. Because people for some reason think that I have some kind of special ability, and I definitely do not. I'm not even fast considering in the group. But I would love to have somebody who's in the group come show us their process. They list 15 items in an hour. So when I go to visit Jen in Phoenix, she shows up, she lists 15 items in an hour. Everyone's like, wow, how did she do that? That's cool. That's cooler than me spending time with an old college friend that is exactly the same. And all my friends in college, they only date people who come into their life. Like I told my friend, the only way you'll get married is if literally the girl that you're looking for just stumbles into your life. You can't, you have no going out skills. You can't go get what you want. And you know who he married? A roommate. He was in a shared house. A lady moved in, they got married. What a surprise. It's just like, man. And they recycle. One of the reasons why I left Utah is people recycle girlfriends. And I'm like, there's so many people here. You have to date my ex. There's so many people. I can tell you what her opinion will be if you want to hang out with me after you start dating her. She will not want you to hang out with me because we just dated. So, man, so it was so nice moving outside of Utah where people don't do that. I don't know if you guys live somewhere where people do that, but I'm not about recycling people. Like, there's so many new people. Wait, Bill, what's the reason people get divorced?
What you were saying, they never change, they're consistent, and they do the same thing all the time, same conversation, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's like, and it's okay to a certain extent. Like there are certain things that are good about people, but if you're both growing and growing together, God bless you. That's a very difficult relationship to have where both people grow together. Usually, not usually, sometimes people grow apart. So hopefully you can grow and you can support each other. But I see relationships too where one person's growing and the other person's not, and the other person tries to hold the person there. That's really disastrous too.
Hey, Chris, can I ask you a quick question?
Please.
Yeah. Say eBay have you in the doghouse. If you put your store on vacation mode, would that take you out?
Would that what?
No, like say if eBay has you in the doghouse, like
Yep.
and you're not getting as much sales because you found out you're in the doghouse, would that, and say you put your store on vacation mode, would that bring your sales back up?
No. What makes your sales go back up is 7 days of consistent listing.
Okay, yeah. I'm listing consistent, so let's see.
But how long is consistent for you?
Every day. I list every day.
For how long? For how long?
For how long? For long as ever. I don't cut off my listing now.
No, but how long have you been consistent?
How long? I don't remember, but it's more than a month now.
That's not very long.
Yeah, no, but it's the other day though, I was supposed to ship something and I couldn't find it, and I said, you know what, I will do it the next morning. And then it's like they give me a ding, said, oh, didn't ship on time.
Yeah, but that's I mean, that is bad because you'll have a defect and that would put you in the doghouse, but like a month of consistent listing is nothing. Like trying to do a full year of consistent listing and not losing an item.
Okay. Yeah, but I need the sale to come up like now.
So, Chris, there's a nuance to what you're saying right there about listing for 7 days in a row. Like,
Yep.
if you go list 12 paper clips every day for 7 days in a row, you're not gonna, hold on, someone's audio's on. All right. So yeah, if you list paper clips for 7 days in a row, like 12 paper clips, you're not going to have a bounce back in sales. Like that's not how it works. You need to be listing quality items. The thing that eBay cares the most about is the quality of the items that you're listing, not necessarily that you're listing every day. The listing every day is bonus number 2, but quality items beats every day. So like if you go list 7 PS5s today, it's a great chance that you're gonna have 7 sales tomorrow because people want PS5s. So it's not just like, let me list, I'm listing consistently while my sales aren't picking up. You also have to look at what am I listing? And if you're listing high quality items that are very desirable, then you should have a pickup in sales, because it blows my mind that Saeed is listing, I think like 10, 15 items a day, and he has a 400 item store, but he has like a 44K 90-day total. So like for you to have 400 items and be getting that much in sales, like, and it's because he has Hokas and Brooks in his store. So like the quality of those items is the next thing you need to look at. Are your items seasonally appropriate? Are your items, appropriate sizes? Are your titles good? It's like, are you actually putting up quality listings? And if you are, then chances are you're going to see a good thing in sales.
You remember, Isaiah, what I said was the most valuable part of reselling?
Grading items.
That's determining whether or not it's quality or not.
Yep.
That's the most valuable part, because I thank you for clarifying that, because you just saved me from getting 100 emails of saying I was consistent for a week and my sales went down because they just listed garbage.
Yeah, like if you're listing quality items, your sales pick up. Like, and there's no way around that. Everyone here, if we listed PS5s today, 7 PS5s would have PS5. So like, you just have to figure out what's that equivalent in your niche. So hold on, let me mute this. All right. For what's his name? For Saeed, that's Hokas and Brooks, for Nina, that's Finn Comfort. So you just got to figure out what that item is that's going to push you in the right direction.
Yeah. The listing consistently, like Paul is people greatly overestimate. Like when you say you're consistent and you've been doing it for a month, that's nothing. That's like eating salad for a month. It will not affect your weight at all. It's not a significant amount of time. The time horizon is huge. How long you think consistent is. If you think consistent is a month, you're going to be screwed in business. That's not consistent. That's warming up. The game hasn't even started yet. If you had a coffee shop and you're like, we've been open for a month straight, and the person was like, I was here 2 months ago and you weren't open, so I never came back. Like, you see people who are like, we have never missed a day in 35 years or something. That's something completely different. So extend your time horizon, think a lot longer. So I just uploaded text call as well as the shoe call, and there were no calls on July 4th minus my call. And I just want to clarify, because we're on YouTube right now, that I thought on Monday that I take 200 days off. I really take like 300 days off a year, because using text system, I make enough money in 66 days to pay for my whole year. The rest of it is just for fun. So
the beginner call was on the 4th as well, by the way.
Oh, there we go. Beginner call on the 4th as well. That's right. All right, guys. So we're going to switch to beginner call, which is not on YouTube. But again, you can ask any. We just call it the beginner call so people are less intimidated, but it's the same. There's advanced eBay is just beginner eBay more consistently.